Shalom from Jerusalem. I have been a part of the team that's been bringing you these Parsha videos for the last year, as well as these holiday videos for a little over a year now. I want to first of all thank the audience for tuning in, showing support, moral and spiritual, as well as, of course, financial support. A lot of time has gone into making all these videos. It couldn't have been done without your help. So, again, a sincere thank you. 30,000+ people have watched the videos. Of course, repeat watchers are great. Thousands of people from around the world. South America, Europe, Iceland, South Africa, Germany, Asia, Australia. Every continent has been represented. If you in YouTube land can help support us to buy equipment, editing time, software, hard drives. I hope we see you for at least 250. I was learning from another Rav here in Jerusalem, the Daf Yomi a couple weeks ago. We're in 5771. By the year 6000, Mashiach has to come. And then we are going to be transitioning into 1,000 years of Shabbat. And I know that anybody who lives in Jerusalem, most people who live in Jerusalem, look forward to the beauty that is Shabbat in Jerusalem. The quiet, the spirituality, the communal beauty of people opening their doors like the Machlis is to represent a true giving spirit that is Judaism, accepting everybody and giving everyone an opportunity to have a family. A special thanks to the Machlises and Rav Machlis, his great efforts in preparing messages. You out there, everyone out there watching, click here for the Rosh Hashanah video. Click here for the Yom Kippur video. Click here to help sponsor and donate for the production. Shana Tova, Tikatevu, and Gmar Chatima Tova. To everybody, keep tuning in, and we hope that we can keep making these videos for you.
There's food, the food is kosher, and specific treatment for her, the healthiest way.
Amen.
So, Shira, what do you think? Should we learn?
Yes, we should have. Sure. Even if one person comes, you learn Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei minim v'zonah. Shalom HaBracha. We'd like to study this evening the final Parashat of the Torah, Parashat V'zot HaBracha. May the study of V'zot HaBracha, which has something to do with blessing, bring blessings to all the people studying it, all the people wanting to study it, all the people who don't yet know why they want to study it or that they want to study it. May this be the bracha, the conclusion of the Torah, the name of the concluding section, has something to do with blessing. There's one text at the end of the Torah, the very end of the Torah, which we read in all of the synagogues on the holiday of Simchat Torah, where we read about the departure of Moshe from this world, the death of our great leader Moshe, and the Torah says, "V'lo yada ish et kivurato ad hayom hazeh." No one knows the burial place of Moses until this very day. And I was always intrigued. What is this? Why? We have the burial sites of some of the greatest people in the world, our great fathers, our great mothers. Why not Moshe? Maybe God did not want anyone to know where the burial site of Moshe is, precisely because Moshe was such an outstanding leader of the Jewish people. And maybe there's a certain danger when someone is on such a great level, who knows what can become of that burial site. In the language of the Chizkuni, Shelo yidrashu bo sho'alei meitim. Maybe there will be people who will be seeking some kind of level of connection with the people who have already departed from this world, And maybe the person, of all persons, would be the leader that led the Jewish people for so many years. Maybe they would go to somehow have some kind of seance or some kind of soulful connection to the departed soul of Moshe, if they would be able to contact some kind of connection with the burial plot of Moshe. Shelo yidreshu bo shoalei meitim. Or as Rav Hirsch writes, bearing in mind that cults bordering on idolatry have often developed around the burial places of great men who did much for mankind, we can understand the greatness of this last stroke in the picture of Moshe's life. V'lo yada ish et kavurato. Now we love, we admire, we respect. We are all students of Moshe. We call Moshe our teacher, our rabbi, Moshe Rabbeinu. But nevertheless, even with our great teacher Moshe, we have to be ever so careful not to go the step beyond the step that's proper. Our father Yaakov Avinu says he doesn't want to be buried. You remember the end of the book of Bereshit, the end of the book of Genesis? He asks Yosef, Al na tikbereni b'Mitzrayim. Please don't bury me here in Egypt. I don't want to be buried in Egypt. There's several explanations, but one of them is I don't want my grave to be turned into an idol. Shelo yasuni Mitzrayim avodah zarah. Is there perhaps a danger in overemphasizing the greatness of a particular individual? I've often been intrigued when the Beit HaKnesset in the synagogue on Simchat Torah, and everyone is singing and dancing, we're celebrating the end of the Torah. The end of the Torah, the very end of the Torah that's read on Simchat Torah, is the story of the death of Moshe. It's tragic, isn't it? A man gave his whole life, 40 years at least of his life, trying to lead the Jewish people out of Egypt, and guide them spiritually and physically to get them to the promised land, and then they can't. He leaves the world just as they're about to enter, and that's the end of the Torah. So we know there are many explanations. In the Torah itself, there are many explanations as to why Moshe can't come into Eretz Yisrael. But maybe part of it is to downplay the centrality of Moshe in Jewish history. Not, God forbid, because there's anything wrong with Moshe, but because it's dangerous. It's dangerous to elevate a human being to a level beyond where, God forbid, they can be taken out of proportion. And that's why one of the first statements that's made, the very first statement in the book of Yoshua, which is read on Simchat Torah, in the Haftarah of Zot HaBracha, Hashem tells Yoshua, Moshe Avdi made. Moshe, my servant, has died. Moshe, my servant, has died. My Kamash Ma'alan, everybody knows Moshe died. It says, right? It's difficult for some people to accept that. How could Moshe die? But maybe to teach us that we have to be focused on HaKadosh Baruch Hu, recognize the greatness of Moshe, but yet understand that never is there any force in the world that replaces God. Our children have heard from me many times at the Seder. I hope it doesn't bore them. I say it almost every year. That there's a missing man at the Seder. That the Haggadah Shel Pesach was one of the most beautiful Jewish works of any time. The Haggadah, gorgeous. What a compilation of teachings and ideas and blessing and benedictions and liturgical order. And it describes the story of the Exodus from Egypt. And there's one person who's not there. You could turn the pages, many pages in the Haggadah. Where is Moshe? In the Torah, when they tell the story about the Exodus, on every page it says, Moshe spoke to Paro, Paro spoke to Moshe, Moshe spoke to God, God spoke to Moshe, Moshe spoke to the Jewish people, And in the story of the Exodus, that we tell once a year, when there's a positive commandment of the Torah to tell the story, there's no mention of Moshe. Yes, if you look with a magnifying glass, you will find one reference. It's at the end of a quotation where they're trying to discuss something about the hand and the finger, if you know what I'm talking about, how many plagues they suffered, and they quote a pasuk, "Vayaminu b'Hashem u'Moshe avdo." That's the only reference I think in the entire book. Why? Maybe it's the same message. Maybe we have to emphasize the role of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who is really the ultimate Goel Yisrael. May we learn to properly respect our great leaders, surely the leader of all leaders, the Adon HaNevi'im, as the Torah says, at the very end of the Torah, V'lo kam Navi od b'Yisrael k'Moshe. Never again was there a prophet on the level of Moshe. Asher yida'o Hashem. Panim el panim. That God knew Moshe face to face, so to speak. Yes, the ultimate level of greatness, but we always, forever, have to make sure that we don't take it out of proper proportion, and perhaps that's the very reason. V'lo yada ish et kavurato ad hayom hazeh. Therefore, no person is aware of the burial site of Moshe, of Moses, until this very day. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for all of the people who've been following with us from the beginning of Bereshit to the end of Devarim, wherever you may be. I hope that we'll be able to continue to study together forever. Shalom HaBracha. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam chashav v'bas chasuna kol shavrasav lachayos v'nam shkolchai Baruch chei ha'olamim v'shavracha v'seinu Rabbi Yitzchak Yaakov v'shav Aaron David Shlomo v'yimosenu Sarah Rivka Rachel Leo Yivrech v'yirapei v'yichazek v'yinsar v'yishmar et Yirmiyahu ben Priva Nechama v'et Sarah Shirel bat Lorraine Elna Rafan Alehem HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachman Alehem Nachdimel Rachmatam Nachzikam Nachyotam Yishlach Lahem Yirah Fu Hashem Hashemayim Chol Avraham v'Gidehem b'tov Shor Chol Yisov v'Atanev Shvat Aguf Hashtav HaGalos B'Akavim v'Namar Amen. There's food. The food is kosher.